Hello, students. Today we are going to learn lesson number 5, an autobiography of an African American in your English literature book. It was written by Booker T. Washington. So let's talk about the author first. Booker T. Washington. He was an American educator, author, orator, and advisor to multiple presidents of the United States. Between 1890 and 1915, Washington was the dominant leader in the African American community. This is an extract adapted from his book Up from Slavery, an autobiography. Booker T. Washington went on to become a leading educationist of his time. He has remained a source of inspiration for African Americans and others. So, without any delay, we'll start learning the chapter. So, here, Booker T. Washington was born a slave in the southern state of West Virginia in the United States of America. In 1856, Booker received no education since the law did not allow slaves to read and write. Slavery finally came to an end in 1865. Slavery means you are a servant to someone or you are under the service of someone, means you cannot have the freedom. So here, after the civil war between the northern and the southern states, their slavery has ended. The slaves were freed and were allowed to settle wherever they choose. But life was still not easy for the former slaves. In this extract, Booker T. Washington speaks of his struggle to learn to read and write. So let's get started. From the time that I can remember having any thoughts about anything, I recall that I had an intense longing to learn to read. Soon after we got settled in some manner in our new cabin in West Virginia, I persuaded my mother, "Mother, please get hold of a book for me. I want to learn." How or where she got it, I do not know, but in some way she procured an old copy of Webster's Blue Black spelling book, which contained the alphabet. I began at once to devour the book, and I think that it was the first one I ever had in my hands. I had learned from somebody that the way to begin to read was to learn the alphabet, so I tried in all the ways I could think of to learn it all. Of course, without a teacher, for I could find no one to teach me. Here, student, it is an autobiography. That means the writer is himself writing about his life. That's why the alphabet or the letter I is used, because the author is himself telling you his story. Here, little Booker had an intense longing to read and write. He desperately wanted to learn reading. He only believed in his mother. He got his first ever book, Webster's Blue Black, by her mother only. He tried to find teachers who can teach him read alphabets, but in his race, that means in his community, there was no one who can teach him, and he was so timid to approach any of the white people around. He wanted to learn new alphabets, new things, but nobody was there to teach him. Next, what Booker says in his book: "In all my efforts to learn to read, my mother fully shared my ambition and sympathized with me and helped me in every way that she could. Though my mother was not formally educated herself, she had high ambitions for her children and a large fund of good hard common sense. In the midst of my struggles and longing for an education, a young colored boy who had learned to read in the state of Ohio came to Meldon. As soon as the colored people found out that he could read, a newspaper was bought. The people went to him with the paper and said, "Please read the news for us. We are anxious to hear what is happening in the world." Thereafter, at the close of nearly every day's work, this young man would be surrounded by a group of men and women who were anxious to hear him read the news contained in the papers. As you can see in the picture, that a young man or a young boy is reading a newspaper, and all the people around him are listening to him and watching him reading. About this time, the idea of opening some kind of a school for the colored children in the village began to be discussed by the members of the race, since it would be the first school for Negro children that had ever been opened in the part of Virginia. It was, of course, to be a great and wildly exciting event. As yet, no free schools had been started for colored people in that section. Hence, each family agreed to pay a certain amount every month, with the understanding that the teacher who was appointed would board round, that is, spend a day with each family. This was not bad for the teacher, for each family tried to provide the very best on the day the teacher was to be its guest. I recall that I looked forward with an anxious appetite to the teacher's day at our little cabin. All across the country, it was a whole race trying to go to school. No one was too old to make the attempt to learn, and almost no one too young. As fast as any kind of teachers could be found, not only were day schools filled, but night schools as well. The great ambition of the older people was to try to learn to read the Bible before they die. So, after reading this, we have come to know that the little boy was very fond of his mother. He believed what his mother did for him or does for him. During the struggles of young Booker, he found a colored man of their community who can read and write, who could read and write. When this news got viral and people around or people from everywhere got to know this, all the men of his race, either young or old, male or female, had started gathering in the evening and made that boy read the newspaper to get to know what is happening around or what was happening around in the world. Some had a wish to read Bible before they die, so they had decided to open a school or for their race, and soon the schools got popular and all the people started coming there. Whole race tried to go to school. All the schools were filled, and many a times people had to stay away from the school. So by this you got to know that when this had started, Booker was not able to get education so easily, but his willingness made him understand and learn the alphabet somehow. Let's move further in the chapter. Although the word Negro was commonly used in the author's time to refer to the African American people, for a dark skinned person originally from Africa, it is now considered offensive to use this word. People of African origin usually prefer to be called black, or in the USA, African American. Yes, students, you cannot speak a black person Negro. It is an offensive crime. With this end in view, men and women who were 50 or 75 years old would often be found in the night school. Some day schools were formed soon after freedom, but the principal book studied in the Sunday school was the spelling book. Day school, night school, and Sunday school were always crowded, and often many had to be turned away for want of room. The opening of the school in Kanwa Valley, however, brought to me one of the sharpest disappointments that I ever experienced. I had been working in a salt furnace for several months, and my stepfather had discovered that I had financial value for the family, and so when the school opened, he decided that he could not spare me from my work. I was bitterly disappointed. Yes, the difficulties were not yet over for him. His stepfather found that he would continue his work. Later, he had faced a difficulty that he wanted to go to day school, but his stepfather sent him to a salt furnace where he had to work. He used to get late in reaching his school as his work ends at 9 o'clock and his school starts at 9 o'clock only. And he reached to school after the school began. In the chapter, the disappointed was made even more severe because I could see from my place of work the happy children passing to and from school mornings and afternoons. My mother tried to comfort me in all the ways she could. Don't worry, dear. God will help you find a way to learn. After a while, I managed to arrange some lessons at night with the teacher after the day's work was done. These night lessons were so welcome that I think I learned more at night than the other children did during the day. But my boyish heart was still set upon going to the day school, and I did not miss any opportunity to push my case. As you know, a young boy had some hopes and he wanted to go to day school only. So finally, I won and was permitted to go to the day school in the day for a few months. The understanding was that I must rise early in the morning and work in the furnace till 9 o'clock and return immediately after school closed in the afternoon for at least 2 more hours of work. The schoolhouse was at some distance from the furnace where I now worked. And as I had to work till 9 o'clock and the school opened at 9, I found myself in difficulty. School would always begin before I reached it. To get around this difficulty, I did something wrong. Perhaps most people will condemn me for what I did, but since it is a fact, I might as well state it. There was a large clock in a little office in the furnace. This clock, of course, all the hundred of or more workmen depended upon to begin and end the day's work. I got the idea that the way for me to reach school on time was to move the clock hands from 8:30 up to the 9 o'clock mark. This I found myself doing morning after morning till the furnace boss discovered that something was wrong and locked the clock in a case. I did not mean to inconvenience anybody. I simply meant to reach that schoolhouse in time. Where, however, I found myself at the school for the first time, I also found myself faced with one more difficulty. Yes, students, so what is going on? What Booker had in learning, or what difficulty Booker had in his learning? He went to the furnace where he got late to reach the school. So he did something wrong. He just moved the clock hands from 8:30 to 9 o'clock to just reach the school on time. But the boss got to know this and he locked the clock in a case. With this, Booker's intentions were showcased, where we can come to know that he was pure from his heart. He just wanted to reach his school on time. But when he reached to school, he had faced another difficulty. Now, this difficulty was not that big, but still, in his life, this incident changed his experience of living. So, let's see what is there. I found that all the other children wore hats or caps on their heads, and I had neither hat nor cap. In fact, I do not remember that up to the time of going to school I had ever worn any kind of covering upon my head. But of course, when I saw how all the other boys were dressed, I began to feel quite uncomfortable. As usual, I put the case before my mother, and she explained to me that she had no money with which she could buy a straw hat, a rather new fashion at that time among the members of my race. But she said she would find a way to help me out of the difficulty, and so she did. She somehow got two pieces of homespun and sewed them together, and I was soon the proud possessor of my first cap. The lesson that my mother taught me in this has always remained with me, and I have tried as I could to teach it to others. I have always felt proud whenever I think of the incident that my mother had such strength of character. She did not try to impress my schoolmates and others with the fact that she was able to buy me a straw hat when she could not. Since that time, I have owned many kinds of caps and hats, but never one of which I have felt so proud of my first cap made of the two pieces of cloth sewn together by my mother. So, students, it was the chapter. In the end, we have got a new incident in Booker's life which he had discussed with us. He told us that his mother was such a good lady. She somehow managed to arrange all the things Booker wanted to have because she was very ambitious for her children. When Booker used to go to school, he found that other children used to wear caps or hats, but he had none of that. He told everything to his mother, and his mother somehow made a hat for him. He was so proud to have that cap on his head because his mother had made it for him, though she did not have enough money to get all that things to be done. Here, he was grateful to his mother and said that since then he had several caps and hats, but his first cap made by his mother was his favorite. So I hope this chapter is clear to you. Thank you, students.